Hi everybody, it is a freezing cold day here and a good day to make a makeup video. So I have my Seint palette. Our palettes come in a lot of different colors, but I like the silver ones because you can wipe them clean and keep them clean a lot easier than the other ones. Normally I apply makeup with my finger and then I blend it in with a brush, but I'm gonna apply with a little brush in hopes that you can see better what I'm doing. So I'm gonna start with the inner corners of my eyes. So a lot of us are a bit darker here. We may have shadows or blue or purple tones. So normally I just suggest people start with their brightening shade and see if that takes care of it. A lot of times that's enough and you don't need a color corrector. If you do have a lot of dark circles, there's some pinky or peachy shades that can help cover that. So my brightening shade is white peach, and I'm just gonna put a couple dots right on the inner corner there at the bridge of my nose. I'm gonna go halfway down the bridge, other side, and I'm gonna put a couple dots on the outer corner. So you'll notice I'm not putting anything right underneath my eye. This is the part that gets puffy, that gets wrinkly, and we don't wanna pack that with product. When we blend, a little bit will cover there. And for a lot of us, most of the darkness is in that inner corner anyway. I'm also going to put this in the middle of my face. So it's the brightening shade. We want to draw people's eyes to the center of our face, to our eyes. And I'm gonna put that above and below my lip. So my forehead, I just did a little starburst here. This white peach, for me, is a really good color corrector for my brown spots. I have a little melasma and hyperpigmentation, and this just has the right shade to cover that up. So I put a little bit there. Now I'm gonna go with my contour. I'm using Astoria, and I also use that in my eyebrows. I am older, I have a thinner face. I don't want to make myself look more gaunt and thin. I'm just putting this right under my cheekbone. I've got about an inch and a half here, but you can see that gives me the look of a little lift. I haven't even blended it, but it really helps to carve out the cheekbone. So it's right underneath there and not going past the pupil of my eye. I didn't even really get to the pupil. I'm just kind of keeping that back there. I have kind of a long chin, so I put a little bit on top, and then to sharpen the jawline, I go right under. To shorten the forehead, I go right near the hairline, and you can contour your nose. I'll show you an easy way to do that. I put a little bit of contour on my fingers, rub it together, and with the fingers touching, go right down the center of my nose. And that leaves a little skin colored stripe there. And you want to connect the dots. And then with that white peach, I'll go down that white line. Now my normal shade, as Seint calls it, main highlight, as you would call it, foundation. Mine is Athens. And my perfect match is actually Candlelit, but because I am older, I feel if I go a little bit darker, it makes my skin look a little more creamy and smooth and less lined. If I go too light, it will start highlighting texture on my skin. So if you're getting a lot of texture, you probably need to go a little bit darker. So I'm just putting some dots all around. And because there's not a lot of contrast with my skin and my hair, I love using bronzer. It just warms up my skin, and I'm almost out of it here, but I love tan lines. If you're more on the fair side, tan lines is a beautiful, creamy, warm bronzer that is just not too much. It doesn't look like you're trying to have a tan. And bronzer goes in the shape of a number 3 on the outside of your face. So along the jaw, the cheekbone, the temple. So I'm just adding those dots there. And I like a little bit on the bridge of my nose. So that's my foundation color, my brightening shade. my main highlight, my contour, my bronzer. And I'm gonna take a brush now and blend that in. My favorite brush is called the powder brush. And I'm taking the tapered end and I'm just going to pat the makeup into my skin. So I'm just patting. Do not rub, swirl, or swipe. You'll just move the makeup right off your face. So I'm pressing it into my skin. I have just the smallest amount of makeup on. You can always add more, but it really doesn't take much to cover. It has really nice coverage and it's not going to sit in your lines and make you look older. Then I'm flipping the end, pressing all of the lighter shade in first. And then I'm gonna just go ahead and press everything else in. And you don't have to worry, you don't need a separate brush for the darker colors or anything. It all is going to work out. And these brushes are made for this cream makeup. If you use another kind of brush, the brushes will get really clumpy and you won't get a smooth look. So either use our brushes or just press it in with a sponge if you don't want to buy the brushes. So for this contour my hairline, I'm pressing up toward the hairline, anything excess on my jawline, and just bring it down to my neck. And you can see my skin just looks a lot more even and creamy and a little more youthful. Now I need some blush. And I love this color Sangria. I use it all the time. And I love the blush and bronzer brush for that. To be honest, I hardly ever use this end, maybe sometimes for blending, but this is really good for blush and bronzer and even foundation if you want a little bit lighter coverage. So I'm just pouncing the brush into the blush, and then I'm keeping it in the back, high on the cheekbone. Because I am older, I don't want that right there. And again, you can always add more, so start out with a little bit. I like to go up the temple, a little on the bridge of my nose. And I want to add lips. I'm going to use Ever Red. I love a lip brush for this because it gives me more definition. And now I can see that I need to balance out my brows. So using that Astoria contour that I use, dipping my brow brush in, I'm just going to fill in these brows a little bit better. The last step would be illuminator. Now, illuminator can be just sort of a shimmer that goes high on the cheekbone and that gives you a glow and makes your cheekbones pop. And it can also smooth out the area under the eye. Our normal illuminators are these very subtle cream shimmers. They're really nice. But as a 60-year-old, I like to use Petal Lip and Cheek instead, which is a glossy pink. I am almost out of that, but I have a backup ready to go. I'm just going to dip my finger in there and put a dot right here on my cheekbone. Then I'm going to use this brush to blend in. I would get a similar look if I used the regular illuminator, but I just feel like this sort of scatters light in a really nice way under my eyes. If I wanted to lighten up this lipstick, I could put a little bit of a shimmer right in the center. I'm going to use Sunshine State for that. And it just creates a little bit of a different look there. If you have any questions, if you would like to try this makeup for yourself, I would be happy to help you. In my bio, I have a link tree with a color match form where you can send me a photo and some information about your skin and I can help you pick out a color. I have a Seint shopping link. I have all the stuff you need in there. So have a great day, stay warm out there,